Okay, let's run.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
It's a quest. It's a quest for fun.
Well, The Rock says, why don't we just cut right to the chase?
Okay, now he wants to get together. Well, he wants to talk.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
It's showtime, folks!
What are you? I'm...
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to And I Quote, the weekly show where we introduce you to content creators of all shapes and sizes that join us from any and all corners of the nerd universe. We find out more about them by taking your questions. I am your host, Ryan of Nerd Culture, and our guest on this episode is definitely something that we are about to step outside the box and interview somebody that we have never had the honor, nay, the privilege of interviewing before. Please welcome the one and only, the individual who was named after this very #1 hit song, Roxanne. Music therapist Roxanne Christian is here. Hello, Roxanne. How are you?
Hi, Ryan. I'm well.
Thank you for being with us. Do greatly appreciate it. Now, if you have any questions for Roxanne as we go throughout the course of this episode, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Our producers are going to be monitoring it as we go throughout the course of this program. And if this is your first time here, do not forget to like and share this with all of your closest friends. With that out of the way, Roxanne, what would you say were some of your favorite movies and or TV series growing up?
Oh, boy. I'm not going to get embarrassed when I say this, but I loved watching Anne of Green Gables when I was growing up. I also loved Gem and the Holograms. I loved Today's Special. It was a Canadian show. I loved My Little Pony. I loved Shera and He-Man, Transformers, and Ninja Turtles.
Great picks. I know a thing or two about a few of those properties because I watched reruns of those too. So well done, well put. What would you say are some of your favorite musicians, past or present?
The first one that comes to mind is Bob Marley. I absolutely love Erykah Badu and Jill Scott and India.Arie. There's so many and so many genres, but I'd say those are my favorites if I was stuck on an island and I had to hear music over and over.
What is your favorite musical instrument to play?
Guitar, because it you can travel with it. I love the smell of the wood. I love how it feels on your body as it vibrates when you play. And then other than that, it would be cello.
That is not something I hear very often. The cello. That is certainly an interesting one, for certain. No question about it. What is one song that you get that motivates you the most, and why?
It probably changes depending on my mood, but the first song, I don't know why, the first song that comes to mind is, I think they're called Panic of the Disco. It's called High Hopes is the name of the song, because it's really hype, good message. Have to have high hopes for the living.
All right. Scale 1 to 10. How much do you enjoy dancing?
Oh my gosh, 10.
Okay. What kind of dance? Do you know how to dance a certain style? Have you learned any skills in your time?
I've taken some classes for salsa dancing when I was younger. I used to take like jazz and lyrical and tap dance and ballet. But now as an adult, I just kind of do free for all, and I love ecstatic dance. So that's when you get together in a nice, safe, cool environment with people, and you just move however you want. So there's no judgment, there's no skill. You just feel the music, you move, and you release. It's really fun.
All right. I totally dig it. By the way, Georgia Harris is here. She says she is a multi-talented angel. Hand waving emoji.
Yay! I love you, Georgia.
Yeah, thank you for being with us, Georgia. If you have any questions for our guests, by all means, let us know in the comments in the chat. Appreciate that. When it comes to music therapy, when did you decide to become a music therapist?
Yes, so um, once upon a time in Ontario, Canada, we used to have grade 13. Now we don't. And at my school at the time, they would take the grade 12s a year before graduating to different universities. And when I was on tour at one of the universities, University of Windsor, I asked the tour guide if I could double major in music and psychology. And they said, "We have a perfect program that combines the two. It's called music therapy." And then that was the beginning of me finding out and getting into music therapy.
Oh, wow, that is amazing. What would you say are some of the biggest rewards about being a music therapist?
Oh my gosh, I love it so much. You get to, in a more fun or entertaining or an engaging or joyous way, you get to meet their their wellness goals, whether it's a cognitive wellness goal, a physical wellness goal, a social or spiritual, or even a creative goal. I get to facilitate meeting those goals through the creative process using music and movement and sound and mindfulness and vibration and all these cool things. And I love when, you know, for example, if you're in a hospital setting and a nurse says, "I've never seen someone raise their hand after their surgery. And this is the first time they raise their hand to, for example, touch an instrument in the sky or, you know, shake their hand up high with an instrument or whatever it may be." So just seeing their face become brighter, their affect, hearing their words of gratitude, and then hearing responses from their caregivers like, "This is the first time they've smiled or talked or moved their body or have sat in one place for so long," is so rewarding and it feels so good.
Amazing, amazing. On the flip side of the coin, though, what are some of the biggest challenges about being a music therapist?
Yes. So when I was doing my internship, I had two different supervisors. And one of the things I noticed is one of my supervisors, she was housed in a school and did music therapy there all day, every day. The other one went from location to location and had a big old suitcase of all these instruments. And I thought it was pretty taxing. And so many times, just the nature of our field, you won't be housed in one organization all day, every day. So you have to travel around to your different clients or facilities or organizations and bring a lot of gear. So for a while, I, did just work for a hospital all day, every day as a music therapist. And then when I started my own business in 2016, now I have to travel to everywhere and carry a bunch of gear. I'm unloading my car, setting up my instruments, playing with the instruments with everyone, disinfecting, loading up the car again and traveling. So just the whole physical aspect of it to me is the hardest part.
Understandably so. And once again, we are here with Roxanne Christian, music therapist, here on this episode of And I Quote. Don't forget to like and share this with everyone you know. If you have any questions for Roxanne, by all means, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. We'd be great to hear from you. Someone does have a question for you, if you don't mind. Georgia Harris says, "What is your experience with people with TBIs? Any stories for us?"
Um, Honestly, I haven't had much experience working with those with TBI. Most of my experience is dementia on the autism spectrum, dealing with anxiety or depression, or even just medical needs. So, regulating the breath, range of motion, finding gross motor skills, impulse control, and things like that.
I see, I see. And then she goes on to say a moment ago, "I'm a Windsor grad too." So,
I
wow.
didn't even know that, my dear. I did not know you were a Windsor grad. Look at that. The things you learn about people.
fun facts of the small world that some of us live in. It is a cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but we love it. But we love it. But we love it anyway. So there, there you go. For someone who may be unfamiliar with the term music therapy, how would you define it?
Yeah, so there's one way I could define it, but I usually like to define it with examples. So I'll define it in two different ways. So music therapy is an allied health profession. So we work alongside other healthcare professionals, usually in an interdisciplinary treatment team, especially when working with in medical or psychiatric settings. So it's an allied health profession that systematically uses music. So we don't just randomly sing and play songs. We have structure and purpose, intentions, goals, observations, future recommendations. So we systematically use music to work on non-musical goals. So whether it's, you know, regulating your mood, your stressors, your anxiety, your depression, your breath, working on impulse control, range of motion, even just memory and things like that. We'll use maybe songwriting as a way to explore and express your emotions instead of regular talk therapy. Maybe we'll use lyric analysis. So maybe someone's struggling with substance abuse. So we'll find out what one of their favorite artists is, and we'll hopefully find a song that artist does talking about, substance abuse or substances. And then we'll print out the lyrics, listen to the song, and talk about what the lyrics mean to us, how we relate or not relate. And from there, we can go into deeper conversations and then move on to like behavioral modifications. So it's like a non-invasive way to have your talk therapy. Maybe we'll do expressive drum circles to release the stress and the tension and to work on those like range of motion stuff with all the movement. Maybe we'll do like specific rhythms, short sequences, and expanding on those with rhythm sticks to help someone with their focus or developing their memory. Maybe we'll do movement and music to explore the body or to work on some exercises that your physical therapist might want you to do. Maybe we'll do deep breathing and quiet the mind and listen to a guided meditation live with healing tones like Tibetan singing bowls and crystal bowls and indigenous wooden flutes and hand chimes and didgeridoos and all sorts of cool, fun instruments to like calm the nervous system and get you into like a theta brainwave state where it's dreamlike and you can get creative downloads and just kind of be inspired from there. And the list goes on and on. One of my favorite examples that I like to use is working with someone with dementia. So maybe they have Alzheimer's and their long-term memory is the last to go. So we're going to sing songs of their childhood and formative years because then they will remember those songs. They'll start singing those songs. And then during or after those songs, we can have meaningful conversations, orient them to reality, like what season it is, who's around, if they have visitors, if they want to interact with their visitors, talk about memories or, introduce new things or motivate them to move their body or take their meds. So that's one example.
Fascinating stuff. And also more people are chiming in here in the chat. I have some questions here. The Continent, that's one of the more unique usernames I've ever heard in the YouTube universe. They ask, what's your favorite part of this job?
Okay, my favorite part? Oh my, there's so many favorite parts, but what comes to mind first is that I get to explore my own voice in a way that it's not pressured, like performance. So for example, hi Linda, I saw my friend Linda just popped on. For example, when I sing in my music therapy sessions, many times people will say, you need to become a singer or go perform. And I love performing, but I love therapy more. And so it gives me a safe space, a non-judgmental space to explore different ways I can use my voice as a vocalist. And also, I love the variety of songs I get to sing from all genres, from jazz to rock to pop to folk to hip hop. And I especially love singing songs from the 1930s to the 1950s because the stories are so sweet. They use great imagery, great similes, great metaphors, and it's not really superficial and repetitive stuff that you hear a lot on pop music today.
That's really good stuff. I'm totally digging. Man, I'm sorry. I'm kind of getting lost in this wonderful conversation that we hope you, who may be watching and listening to this, are enjoying on And I Quote. The next question comes to us from the continent once again. Ooh, what genre of music most generally fits under the aid for music therapy?
Yes, so because we want to make it person-centered, we want to use music that the client likes. It's all about them. So when we first do an intake assessment, and one of the questions is, what kind of music do you like? What are your favorite artists or genres, songs? And then we learn songs and we create interventions with those songs. For me, I sing, I'll be honest, just the places I go to and the population and the ages. I sing a lot of children's songs. I sing a lot of pop songs. I sing a lot of rock songs. And I sing a lot of songs from the 1930s to the 1970s.
That's a wide range. That's the couple of different. There's a lot of decades of music there to play with. Oh my gosh! But I'm just throwing that out there. Let's see here. Michael Harris is here with us. He says, "Roxanne." Sorry, that wasn't him saying that. I'm just having a bit of fun here in the studio. But he says, "Roxanne, I love you, sister. I love how you can relate to your clients with their favorite music artists and improving their connections to therapy."
Oh, thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate that so much.
And before I get to this next question, I want to take a moment to acknowledge Georgia's back. Georgia says, have there been any funny moments from your work?
I'm glad you asked, Georgia. My goodness. So many and many times. And also some scary ones and not so funny ones, but are funny in retrospect. But some of the experiences, I swear, could be in movies. I'm going to share 3 different ones, Ryan, if we have some time. Okay. So one of them, I remember I was at a long-term care community, and it was a big group. And we had it close by the nursing station. So I'm there playing my guitar, moving my body, encouraging everyone to play and move along. And then next thing you know, we have staff joining in and they're doing the funniest moves. Like we've got like the sprinkler move, we've got like this move, and then we've got like this move. And it was just really funny. It was straight out of like, it would have been a good movie segment to see therapy in motion and everyone just getting silly. I will always remember that. Okay, so not so funny, but funny in retrospect is when you give someone an instrument like a maraca and you're handing out instruments and you turn around, next thing you know, the maraca's flying on your forehead and it hits you and you're like, wow, wasn't expecting that. Where did that come from? Things like that can happen. When you're working in psych, because I worked in psych for a while, more intense things can happen. Like I've been bitten by someone who was having a psychotic breakdown and was hallucinating and took a chunk out of my skin. When I worked at Kalinga State Hospital, it's a rehabilitation hospital for sex offenders, unfortunately. Sometimes I got harassed physically. So these are part of the things in the job, depending on what setting you're working with. But overall, it's always eventful in some way.
Gee willikers, people are laughing in the chat about certain stories. Georgia sends you some laughing emojis. The continent is giving you a skull emoji. I'm not sure where he's going with that one. And then Georgia Harris says, flying maracas. That's what Georgia's saying here in the chat. So wonderfully. Thank you, Georgia, and everyone else who's been commenting or sharing. And by the way, this is And I Quote with music therapist Roxanne Christian. Don't forget to like and share this with everyone you know. If you have any questions for Roxanne, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Be more than happy to hear from you. Someone had a question here a moment ago. I'm trying to think of where it was. Here it is. The Continent asks a $2 billion question. They ask, can you sing a little for us?
Oh, wow. Okay. Being put on the spot.
Are you comfortable with that? Are you okay
Sure,
doing that?
sure.
I mean,
anything in particular, or?
I mean, they don't say anything here in the chat. The Continent was laughing his keister off, or he or she, sorry, I don't know who it is. The Continent is laughing my arse off during certain portions of your funny stories, but they don't have any suggestions. So if you just want to sing whatever comes to my mind, whatever comes to your mind, just a little bit.
I sang at a funeral yesterday, so I have that song in my mind. Hopefully it's not too somber for us, but it's called The Blessing. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful song. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and the rains fall soft upon your fields. Until we meet again, my friends. Until we meet again, may life hold you in the palm of its hand. Its hand. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and the rains fall soft upon your fields. Till we meet again, we meet again. May life hold you in the palm of its hand.
Yes! That's awesome!
That, my goodness, I mean, oh my goodness. Well done. Well done. Awesome sauce. We got lots of people chiming in here with that one. Pretend they are light sticks. The Continent says. And they also go on to say, whoa, like the nature boy. Let's see. Michael Harris says, sang that song, girl. Mm-hmm. And George is giving you clapping emojis. Applause emojis. That's what that is. Thank you. Wow. First time ever in the history of this YouTube channel that we've had someone grace us with their incredible singing voice. So you just made history, Roxanne. Congratulations.
Thanks, Ryan.
Well done. Well done. My goodness gracious. They're going crazy over here in the chat. Oh my God. But even so, thank you for sharing your talents with us. We greatly appreciate that. So if someone is interested in pursuing a career and becoming a music therapist, what pieces of advice would you give that individual?
Absolutely. I think studying theory and understanding theory is important because it's part of the curriculum. And I think once you better understand theory, you understand the movement of music, you understand like instantly singing in other keys. You just have much more understanding that you can apply. So the whole process is you'd go to school, get your BA in music therapy. You're going to be studying music history, music psychology, regular psychology, anatomy and physiology. I think I said music history and music theory. and as well as like learning. All music therapists have to learn guitar, voice, percussion, and keyboards because those are the primary instruments we use as music therapists. And then after you graduate, you do your 1,300 hours of internship, and then you sit to take your board certification exam. And once you pass, then you're a music therapist. Yay! So just love psychology, love performance, love music, love history, the body, and you'll be good.
Mic drop. Enough said. Greatly, greatly appreciate that. Now, have there been any other special memories or moments for you from being at hospitals or events, or whether you're promoting your business, whether you're there as a vendor or there as an attendee or working with other clients?
Yeah, I'll say two. One was years ago when I used to work at Aurora Charter Oak Hospital, which is in Covina, California. They also have sister hospitals all over America. But I remember when someone was in our acute care inpatient, then they transitioned to the 28-day residential program. And when they were outpatient, they found me and they approached me and they said, I remember you did one session and I literally was thinking of, taking my life that day. And after that session, especially when we talked about the lyrics of Bob Marley's Three Little Birds, Don't Worry About a Thing, and then we did an art piece around it and then drummed and meditated, that really, saved my life literally. And I didn't even know that. Sometimes you never know the effects you have on people. And that really touched me. I will always remember that I was a part of saving someone's life. And then more recently, I go into group homes and I do music therapy, and one of the residents passed away, and I didn't realize how important I was in their wellness regime until the family asked me to sing at their funeral and told me that. So these are the things that really touched my heart when you're doing work and you don't always know its great impact on others.
My goodness. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. And yes, it's unfortunate. And we all struggle with this, right? We've all had dark days. We've all had days where we say to ourselves, why do I keep doing this? It's not really worth it. I should just punch my ticket, check out, get out of here. It's not worth it. But then you find something or someone that comes along and they help you through the dark times and show you that there is a positive, things to life, as it were, depending on how you interpret that, because it's different for everybody. I'm not saying one version is right or the other, but thank you for sharing that with us. And that's amazing that you're able to help that individual who was struggling with those dark thoughts, because we've all had them. We've all been there. We've all been there. I'm not saying it affects one group of people over another. It affects all of us, all 7 billion people on this huge planet we call Earth. It's a big deal. By the way, people are chiming in here in the chat. Georgia states, Ryan is funny. Oh, shucks, Georgia.
Ryan is hilarious, Georgia.
I mean, Georgia, get out of here. I'm not funny. I'm not. I'm just a simple man trying to make his way in the universe. That's all I'm here to do. I'm just, if you think I'm funny, hey, more power to you. And then someone named Peace says, that's my cousin. Big up yourself.
Peace. Oh, I'm wondering who that is.
Yeah, it says
Thank
that's
you,
my
guys.
cousin.
I'm going to find out which cousin it is.
Yeah, you might want to do some digging on that. Maybe get what's the extension we used to call to get information? It was a 411. There it is. Yeah. And then Michael Harris goes on to say, sounds like music therapy is amazing for yourself as well. There you go. There you go. And then let's see here. The comment goes on to say, this whole live stream is impactful right now. I feel this in my soul. Wow. Wow. That is deep. That's deep. I don't hear that very often. I really don't. I don't hear it on this show. I don't hear it on some of the other pieces of content that are out there on this YouTube channel that you are currently watching or listening to, known as Nerd Culture Channel. And once again, we are here with the incredible, beautiful, gorgeous, with an incredible singing voice, Roxanne Christian on this episode. Do not forget to like and share this with everyone you know. And if you have any questions for our guest at any point, whether you're joining this live on the replay, let me just state that. Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. And Peace goes on to say to identify themselves as Daniela.
Oh, Danielle, I love you guys.
Oh, okay. The dots are connected here. We're getting it. There you go. That answers that one. And before I get to the next question, Mike, I want to acknowledge this one for just a second. What has been your favorite concert that you've attended, past or present? Like something more recently or something in the deep, deep past? What's been your favorite concert?
That's a very good question. Wow.
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to have to bring it to something more recent because there have been a lot of pretty cool concerts, even though I wish I could get to more. But, you know, even though I listen to the radio a lot, my favorite music is not necessarily pop music. I love artists that are not necessarily on the radio, but they're pretty popular in their own right. And I don't know if anyone's heard of Alan Stone, but he's so soulful. He's so soulful, and you wouldn't even expect, because he doesn't really look like a soulful man. He looks like just a creative person. And so I went to his concert last year, and I think it was the year before, or sometime before COVID or something, when he came to Toronto, and I sang along and jammed. It was great. Alan Stone, folks, check him out.
Now, myself and the individual who may be watching and listening to this have some homework to do at the conclusion of this broadcast, but I don't mind because I've discovered certain indie artists, whether they've been on the radio or I just went to a concert one night and I discovered them and they were great. And then I ended up buying not this one, but I'm just saying for an example, if you meet an artist or a band at a concert that you've never heard of before and you buy one of their pieces of swag, also known as t-shirts, which are still in fashion, by the way, or CDs. You remember those things, guys? CDs. I remember buying those. Yeah, we had, do you remember those CD towers we used to have? Do you remember that? They were like these tall, yeah. Those are some good times. And then Daniela goes on to say, you're amazing. I love you too. It's all kinds of love being shared. And then someone has another question. Well, actually, it's more of a request. I'm not sure if you're willing to do this or not. You've already proven that you're one of the biggest stars in the world, Roxanne. But Georgia says, sing some Bob Marley.
Oh, boy.
Do you want to sing some Don't You Worry About
I'll do a
a
little
Thing?
titty bit for you, Georgia. You got to sing along where you're at. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be all right. Singing, don't worry about a thing. No, don't worry, 'cause every little thing is gonna be all right. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds pitched by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, a melody's pure and true. Singing, this is my message for you.
Oh boy, who needs the TV series and all the producers and the behind the scenes people when you have the actual true American Idol right here on this stage, on this set right now, known as Roxanne Christian. That's what I got to say. Forget Seacrest. I'm the real Ryan here in this scenario. Honestly,
right?
Honestly. And people are cheering for you here as we go throughout the course of this chat. The Continent says, I'll bring out the light sticks for you again. Georgia Harris says, I still have them, but no CD player, though. No CD. Well, you got to go get yourself one. You can find one on eBay. Michael says, I was seeing what Scantex does on an image. They're just messing around with their technology. They're having trouble. There are the light sticks from the Continent. There are the light sticks. There they are. And the Continent has dancing men and women emojis for you. They were dancing during your singing there. Georgia has the party hats. The party hats. And then Georgia goes on to say, the real Ryan. Yes. Thank you, Georgia. Finally, someone who speaks English. Is that what just happened? Sorry, that's a line from a Marvel movie going back 10, is it 10? 11 years, excuse me, 11 years. Wow. You know, well, here's a question. This is a bit of a bonus question. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this artist or not. Are you familiar with Mindy Abair by any chance?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I had no idea who she was until they were playing her on my local radio station. This was back when I was living in the state of Maryland, for those of you keeping score at home. I'm in North Carolina now. Maryland's up here. I'm like, in the deep south, down here. But anyway, so I listened to her music. I listened to a few others, and I realized jazz is soothing. Jazz is awesome. It's mellow. It's nice. And then you get Mindy Abair walking in there, with her nice outfit, the blonde hair, and the saxophone, and she can sing as well as play the instrument. Don't get me wrong. And there was this one song. I mean, granted, this is a lovey-dovey song, so I'm not going to try to get too much on the pedestal of romanticism, because what do I know about romance? But there's a song called "Do You Miss Me" by Mindy Abair. Have you heard that one, Roxanne? Are you familiar with that single?
I'm not sure if I've heard that one.
All right, I'll send it to you in the green room
Oh, thanks.
when we finish up here, so you can have a chance to listen to that and tell me your thoughts on it, because I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that. But there was that song and a few. But when she just whenever it's either Mindy or somebody else plays the saxophone, it feels mellow and so to me. And I don't know if anyone else agrees with me on this. I don't know. I think jazz music is a good form of. It could be therapeutic, right? I mean, that works.
Absolutely.
I mean, is there a jazz artist that you like in particular, other than some of the other artists that you've already mentioned?
I don't know. I like so many. The first one that I always go with whatever pops in my head first. I'm thinking of Ella Fitzgerald as a vocalist. As a player, there's so many. What pops into my mind is like a newer artist, Esperanza Spalding. She plays the upright double bass. She plays a whole bunch of other instruments. She sings. She's so talented. Both her and Mindy Abair went to Berklee, I'm pretty sure, my alma mater.
Oh my. They went to Berklee? That's some good stuff. And by the way, Michael Harris says, Maryland, whoop, whoop. Yeah, Michael, I used to live in Maryland. And how I heard jazz music was, it used to be known as 104.3 WSMJ, Baltimore's smooth jazz radio station. Why didn't they call me and had me be a DJ on that radio station when it was still around? I could have done it. I mean, granted, I was awfully young for the time, but I still could have done it. Honestly. I mean, they could have had me do the sweepers. The sweepers they play in between music? I could have done that. Like, you're listening to so-and-so radio station. You know what I mean? It's, ugh. Michael says jazz is so amazing. Georgia goes on to say, I love Latin jazz.
Ooh, yes.
Latin jazz?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard any of this, Georgia. Do you want to share with us a song or an artist I should look up at the conclusion of this broadcast? Or, maybe you can DM it to Roxanne, and then Roxanne can DM it to me. I'm not sure. And then the continent says jazz with a saxophone emoji.
I love the continent.
Oh, the emojis are getting a workout today, fans. And Georgia goes on to say, you were born to be independent, Ryan. All right. Well, I mean, listen, we're just a small YouTube channel that's trying to. We are doing our best to entertain lots and lots of listeners or viewers out there. That's really all I can say. And we thank you for your support, Georgia. If you want to tell all your friends about us, that'd be greatly appreciated. She goes on to say, Tito Puente is an artist that you should look up for Latin jazz.
Tito Puente, yes.
Tito Puente.
And I just wanted to point out, Ryan, because I'm really big on words. I love how you caught yourself saying we are. And then you finish your sentence about your YouTube channel. I love that.
Yeah, because in the words of my wise sage known as Master Yoda, do or do not. There is no try.
Exactly. There you go.
I mean, does anyone remember Star Wars? It's only been around for almost 50 years. Long before I was ever born. And then Georgia goes on to say, peace emoji. That's, the two finger piece like they did back in the 70s. I wasn't there for that. I can't speak to it. Let me ask you this. What is a concert or artist you hope to attend but haven't attended or met yet?
I'm going to say two because two come to mind. Coldplay. And I was going to say Jill Scott, but I've already seen her. I've already seen Erykah Badu and I've already seen India.Arie. So I'm just Coldplay.
Okay, that's fair. Do you like the single? Maybe not it's a single, but it's a song. Clocks. Do you remember Clocks?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost all their stuff. Oh, I've never seen YouTube. I love YouTube. Everything from the beginning till now. I don't care what people say.
Wow.
I love YouTube.
Wow. I mean, when it comes to U2, the song that comes to mind, one of the first, probably the first U2 song I ever heard was way back in the early 2000s. You remember Beautiful Day?
Oh yeah, that's like one of their newer ones.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
that
good
song.
message.
Oh, it is, and it's just it puts you on another level, right?
Right?
You feel like you're transported because
Ooh.
today's a beautiful day. Like, go out there, seize it, do what you want, be with your loved ones, celebrate what you are, celebrate who you are, like all that stuff. It's so good.
I used to use that one as one of the lyric analysis songs when I worked in psych.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, so we talk about, the opposite of beautiful days, and then we talk about, how life is a spectrum and where you focus is where you'll experience more of. And then we talked about the lyrics and how we can possibly relate or have some memories of these beautiful days or just imagine like transporting to, a scene or a place or an experience that's beautiful.
It's a good song too. Man, we're mentioning all kinds of things about music. So, I mean, hence the reason we have a music therapist on the show. So, if you want to know more, just YouTube all this wonderful pieces of music, and it's the beauty in the interwebs. You can find some of the best music in the world. Some of the most undiscovered artists or music in the world can be found on social media networks. It just depends on how you go about it. What has been your experience like working with autistic individuals?
Yeah, because it's a spectrum, it's so vast, the experiences. Because you'll get someone who's nonverbal, and will move or maybe make eye contact or not as their way of communicating. Maybe will communicate through their facial expressions and, body language and gesturing. But then you'll get some who you wouldn't even know are on the spectrum and are very intelligent. They may just seem a little like quirky socially to you. And many times when I am with that type of person, they're very cerebral and intellectual. And then we have those who are verbal, but like maybe out of context they're saying things or even just vocalizing things. They can be very loud, they can be very combative. Sometimes there's not that good spatial awareness in terms of like social interaction. But it's very broad. I work with children on the spectrum and adults on the spectrum. And so, you get a wide variety.
Well, not to put this on a pedestal for just a second, but I should know a thing or two because I'm one of them. I have autism myself.
Oh, I
So,
didn't even know that, Ryan.
you didn't know that about, you didn't know
No.
I was one of the X-Men? Okay. Well,
No.
true story. I have autism myself, and one of the things about being autistic is that people who have autism are very passionate about certain things, so they become like an expert in that certain area. So for me personally, I'm very good at reciting movie lines and remembering quotes better than most people in the room. So if you ask me to quote a movie that's 2 hours long, I could probably quote it back to you word for word, respectively. And if you need certain facts about a movie, whether it, what was the release date, who starred in it, who directed it, more, most of the, not all the time, but most of the time, I can get that information and just pull it right out. It's like a magician pulling a rabbit out of a hat. So there you go. There's your PSA. The more you know.
Well, I love that, Ryan. And it's true because I'm thinking of two different groups I go into, and there's always one in the group who knows like the dates of each song or which movie it comes from or all the social culture references and facts. And we're all like, wow, you are an encyclopedia. And it's so true. Sometimes you'll have individuals on the spectrum who just really gravitate to something, and then they'll know everything about that thing, that subject, or that area. It's amazing. It's a gift.
Yeah, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. There's another pop culture reference. I used to think it was a curse. It was worse than cancer. I thought it was the most horrible thing I could ever receive. And then once I learned more about autism, I'm talking about autism specifically. Once I learned more about it and I understood it, and I realized that my brain is wired differently than a neurotypical individual is, at the end of the day, I thought, you know what? it's not cancer. This is just a part of me, but it doesn't define me. It's just a part of me, and I can use these gifts to benefit mankind, which I know is kind of pulling a line or two from an X-Men comic, but that's the way I explain autism. It's an analogy for X-Men. Now, X-Men can be used to explain a number of different things for a number of different reasons, but that's how I use like if someone is asking me, well, what is it exactly? I'm like, well, think of the indie movie that came out 23 years ago. I know, 23 years ago. That's going way back. It's called X-Men. When you watch the first movie, there's a lot of examples to how the X-Men can relate to people individuals on the autism spectrum, because I know some people like to word it differently, and that's fine. So there you go, fun facts. And people are chiming in here in the chat. I want to take a moment to acknowledge those individuals. Georgia says, one of the X-Men, I love your references. Heart emojis. Thank you. Hey, what do we say? I know we can't sing it. We can't hum it really because it's, the whole, don't want to break rules. But we were there in the 90s, guys. I was there. I should know. And then Michael Harris says, movie quotes are your superpower. Yeah. Yes. 100%. No doubt. No doubt. And then Georgia goes on to say, and it's part of what makes you a great host. Wow. Stop it. Thank you so much. You do not have to say these things at all, but we appreciate it nonetheless. With that being said, once again, we are here with music therapist Roxanne Christian on And I Quote. Don't forget to like and share this with everyone you know. If you have any questions for her, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Whether you are joining this live or on the replay, we want to say thank you for being a part of this. And I do want to let you know, Roxanne, that this episode of And I Quote, and every episode of And I Quote, is indeed powered by our good friends at Poddex. Now get this. Poddex are unique interview questions and episode starting prompts in the palm of your hand. So whether you are a new podcaster or existing broadcaster looking to grow your audience or get more engagement, you're going to want to check out poddex.com. Use the code RYAN10, that's RYAN10, Ryan10 for 10% off your first order. Do not miss out on that incredible offer and opportunity. So Poddex wants to know, Roxanne, who are your heroes in real life?
My heroes in real life. Wow. I don't know. The first person that comes to mind is my mom, because she was a single mom. So she's like my mom and my dad. And she's not perfect, but she's very supportive. And she, I learned from her and my grandmother how to, hustle and to create something for your family. So then I'd say who just recently passed, my grandmother, as being an example. Again, she was definitely not perfect, but she gave me, good examples of how to create community, how to care for others, how to hustle, how to, build a legacy for your generations to come. And the third hero, I don't know, I'd have to say maybe my son, because he's teaching me how to be just more disciplined, more, I've always been organized, but more organized in terms of balance and routine and time management. And I guess that's about it.
Wow, you got a munchkin of your own? How old is this munchkin?
He's 11.
Oh.
Yeah.
Does he like music as much as you do?
I don't think so.
No? How can you not like music? What is the, granted, there are some genres.
No, he likes music, but I don't think he's as into it as much as I do. I tried to teach him piano. It didn't really last long. He didn't want to really learn the theory. He likes a lot of video game music, things like that. Like fun. I don't know what it's called. Fun Nights at Freddy's.
Five Nights at Freddy's, Minecraft, Fortnite.
Yeah, like music like that. But he hears me practice for sessions and performances. So I'm thinking it's soaking in. He'll get some good music in his blood.
No, that's absolutely fair. And the comment, few people chime in here in the chat. The comment says, laughing my tail off, the slight singing to avoid copyright, Ryan. Yeah, well, I got a few of the little chords out before, Georgia Harris goes on to say, he's 11. They love nothing.
Thanks, Georgia. That makes me feel a little bit better, honestly.
He loves nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. That's another movie quote for you. Michael Harris goes on to say, TikTok music is taking over the new generation.
Oh, so sad.
That is sad. Whatever happened to just listening to Conga by Gloria Estefan and the Miami Sound Machine? Whatever happened to that?
Right.
That's a good song, right? Do you remember that one? Like the Conga?
Yes.
It's a good
Very
one.
funky.
Yeah, that's a good song. Like,
In fact, I might use that one in my next group.
Okay.
Movement activity.
It is. It's a very much a movement and team building activity. So feel free to write that down in your notebook or use it as at your leisure. The comment goes on to say, you can kind of relate to him laughing my tail off, probably because I'm Gen Z too. That's okay. It's okay. We won't take offense. It's all right. It's all right. And Poddex wants to know, which living person do you most despise other than the fact that Ryan Seacrest is not the real Ryan and the host of American Idol? Anyone else?
Honestly, it's hard for me to really stay despising someone. It's just not in my blood. I'm not one to hold grudges or
it's okay.
Keep negative things in my space, my mind. So I don't really have an answer for that one.
All right. In other words, we pass and move on to the next one. So with that being said, Poddex wants to know, if you could change one thing, just one thing about yourself, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think if it was just one thing, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, which kind of stumps me. It prevents me from completing projects sometimes, or putting content out there on social media, or showing my face on social media, or just even just being around people. If things aren't in a certain order, I might get a little edgy, irritated. I'm a bit OCD, a bit of a perfectionist. I wouldn't have it any other way, but I do see sometimes it gets in the way.
Kind of like Detective Monk from the TV series, the most obsessive compulsive detective that ever lived. You remember him?
Detective Monk?
Yeah, don't you remember Detective the TV series Monk with Tony Shalhoub?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was OCD.
Yeah, I remember watching that one.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you remember that show or not, because I've only seen clips of it. I never actually watched a full-length episode, but I hear it's great.
It's pretty good.
I hear it's really good. I just haven't seen full episodes, and I apologize for those of you who are fans of that property. If you know a place where I can stream them, let me know in the DMs, send us an email, and let us know on Instagram. I don't know. We'll talk more about that later. And Georgia Harris goes on to say, that was a deep question. And then George says, yep, I love Monk, the TV series. And the comment says, look at this information plate. I think I digested it already. I think that's a quote. Is that a quote from Monk, or is that something else? I'm not sure.
Content is funny.
They're just being silly. Poddex wants to know, what is your most treasured possession?
Oh my.
Could be anything.
Okay. What is it? That's a hard question. My most treasured possession. Honestly, I'd have to say it's not a physical thing. It's my consciousness, my mindset, my mind, my heart, because that creates everything else I experience in this world. And just my mental health and sanity, because I almost lost it at one point, and that was very scary. So that's my most treasured thing. Because without that, health is wealth, and you don't have much.
That's, oh my goodness gracious, very important stuff. And yes, mental health is very important. And if you are struggling with things, there are resources out there that can help you. Please consider using those resources, because as we've all learned in the last 3 to 4 years during the lockdown, mental health has never been more. I mean, it's always been important, but like the pandemic really like gut checked us and thought, when we think to ourselves, mental health is a lot more important than we actually think it is. Yes, it is. So please do your research, read read some information that's currently out there, go to the resources that are available to you, use them to the best of your ability, because we all struggle, we all hurt, we all have pain, but there are ways to get through it. There are ways to overcome certain challenges. I'm not saying it's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows by tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, because I'm on the East Coast. Sorry, people who live in California. Hotel California. Sorry, that's another song. But yeah, just take care of yourself and each other. That's the best advice I can give somebody at this point. And Georgia Harris says, if it was physical, it would be her guitar.
Probably.
Yeah. What do you like better? The acoustic?
Actually, no. It wouldn't be my guitar.
It wouldn't?
It would. That would be the third thing. It would be singing bowl sets that I don't even have yet. That's what it would be.
Really?
Crystal singing bowls.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That would be it.
I was thinking of something else. What do you like more, the acoustic guitar or the electric guitar?
Oh, acoustic by far.
Okay. That's fair. Poddex wants to know what's left on what is known as your bucket list.
Oh wow. Okay, I would love to go like mountain climbing, rock climbing. I don't know if I'm gonna do this one, but I would love to go skydiving. I don't know if I'm gonna do it though, but that is on the bucket list. What else? Those are the two big ones.
Oh my goodness gracious. Unfortunately, this individual is no longer with us, and rest in peace to Patrick Swayze. But do you remember the indie film that came out 30 plus years ago called Point Break with Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
You remember that? Johnny Utah, get me 2.
Yep.
So in that movie, there's a skydiving sequence, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, if I'm going to go skydiving, I would go skydiving with probably Bodhi, because he makes it fun. Whereas I'm trying to think of, okay, I got to get into this perfectly good airplane, and I got to jump out of a perfectly good airplane at like what, 5, 10,000, 11, 15,000 feet in the air. I'm thinking that's terrifying. And I'm not a big fan of heights to begin with, Roxanne. So jumping out of a perfectly good airplane, oh my gosh.
It's a little scary.
I don't know if I could do it.
I have an aunt-in-law who's done it twice.
Really?
Twice. Yeah. She seems like a conservative type, but I guess not.
She enjoyed herself during those 2 jumps?
She did. She did say she felt like she was playing with her life, though. So.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I don't know. Has anyone else, have you, who may be watching or listening to this, have you skydived? And what was your experience during that time? Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. With that being said, let's see here. More people are chiming in here. Let's see. The comment says, insert guitar music here. I don't have a guitar. Sorry. Georgia Harris says, wow, Christmas gift. Singing bowls. Time to start a GoFundMe campaign.
Right? Good idea.
Certain instruments do cost a lot of coin. So you got to take that into account. The continent goes, the continent has a question for you. And they go on to say, if you had to travel anywhere in the world to spread your talent, where would you go?
Oh, wow. That's a very good question. The continent. I don't know. That's hard. I mean, I want to say 3 different places that just pop into my head. I don't know why. India, I don't know why. They have great music over there. Jamaica, because that's my roots. I don't know, Costa Rica. I don't know, probably because I just really want to go there. And Africa, specifically Ghana, maybe, because that's my roots as well. So, yeah.
I respect that. So let's start the GoFundMe campaign. Let's help her travel to all the places of the world she wants to go, and everyone's going to win, right? Yay. And Georgia goes, I'm sorry. I'm just putting it out there if people want to help you with your travel expenses. Georgia Harris goes on to say, only slingshot bungee. Never again. Laughing emoji.
Oh, wow. I've done that. I actually liked it, but that too can go wrong. Many different ways.
If you're not careful, that thing can pull you back up very quickly, and you can bang your head against a concrete slab.
Yep, pretty much.
So that's not something I would want to experience. Would you? No. Not me. And then the comment says, I'm not going to lie, skydiving seems fun. Well, if you wish to pursue that activity, the continent, you go right ahead. And then he's got let it rain money emoji for you. Let it rain. And then the content goes on to say the GoFundMe funds start here, and he's probably that individual is going to insert the link here in a moment. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. We'll talk more about that later. But I do want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much to Roxanne Christian for being our guest on this episode of And I Quote. This is certainly one for the ages. Who'd have thunk that we would have a music therapist here on our virtual stage, talking to our virtual audience, sharing her thoughts and feelings and answering all your questions, as well as the host and producers' questions. History has indeed been made, and we want to thank you for being a part of it. Roxanne, you are a wonderful person inside and out. We wish you nothing but the best moving forward. However, where can the person watching or listening to this follow you on social media and keep up to date with everything that you have going on?
Absolutely. So the best bet to, connect with me in real time is to download the Clubhouse app and then search the house and the room, the Daily Gratitude Movement. Every Wednesday night, I moderate a gratitude room where you can listen to hear people share what they're grateful for. If you want to share verbally what you're grateful for, you have the opportunity to do that. It's every Wednesday night from 8 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Clubhouse. Otherwise, be sure to visit me online at livelovelifemusic.com. Look for that pop-up, get your free gratitude journal, and start, whether you use that journal or something else, start your gratitude practice, your daily gratitude practice. It definitely helps in so many ways. And then you can also find me on Instagram at RoxLLMusic. And I'm on Facebook as well, but I'm mainly interactive on Clubhouse. And you can reach out to me with an email online or DM me on Instagram.
Fantastic stuff. Thank you so much, Roxanne, for being with us. I'm going to be talking to you here in just a moment. My name is Ryan of Nerd Culture. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you so choose, at your own peril. Or if you, at your own risk, whatever. I'm just being silly. But if you want to follow me, you go right ahead. It's on Instagram Twitter and Instagram at RyanRPM5. Check us out on all forms of social media. Check out all the incredible things that Roxanne Christian is doing. She is a wonderful person. She's got a wonderful soul. She's got so many great things going for her. And all of our guests who have been on And I Quote have been a treasure to speak to and meet and get to know better. And we hope you have enjoyed this time getting to know Roxanne Christian and all our other guests. I mean, we've had music therapists, we've had historical fiction writers, we've had actors and producers, all kinds of wonderful people on this show. And believe me, we're just getting started. Fasten your seatbelts because this ride is far, far from over. One thing I do want to invite you in on, we are this close to hitting 1,000 subscribers. Once we do, we're going to throw a great big live stream celebration that's going to include returning favorites, some special surprise guests, some special giveaways, and maybe even Roxanne Christian will come back and serenade us with her beautiful, angelic singing voice. Now, wouldn't that be one for the books, my friends? I think it would. Yeah. Talk that talk, George. Big dog. Yeah, that's real. So with that being said, check that out. Make sure you tell your friends about us, because they're going to tell their friends and they tell their friends, so on and so on and so on. You know how these things go. Also, Ahsoka's Weekly Mission, talking about all things Star Wars on Wednesdays, 8 p.m. EST. So check us out there. Lots of great guests coming your way. Also, speaking of music, the man who gave us our childhood soundtrack in the 90s for Power Rangers, X-Men, Dragon Ball Z, and all that stuff, he's going to be here with us. Ron Wasserman is going to be joining us on Saturday, October the 14th, 12 p.m. EST, right here in this very studio on this very channel. So you want to go Power Rangers and that, all that stuff, it came from this guy. So check it out. It's coming up in October, which is only a few short weeks away, that particular date, Saturday, October 14th, 12 p.m. EST. Check it out. And in the meantime, stay healthy, stay strong, stay safe, stand strong, stay strong. And remember, life is better when reading or listening to music. Take a look.
Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
Sweet dreams they placed on me inside my mind. Chance my truth twist the past, my memories are fading fast. Am I still missed? Who do you want me to be? Am I still missed?
Author Cindy Kep is writing on the edge. Books include Remnant in the Stars, The Loudest Actions, Lines of Succession, Mindstorm, Condemned Courier, the Yerushalayim series, and Animal Eye. Find author Cindy Kep at CKOEPP.com today.
Good morning! Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.